Mia Boiridy, welcome.
Thank you.
Before we get started, tell everybody who's watching, what's the name of your company, what's your symbol, what exchange can they find you on?
It's Red Pine Exploration, it's on the Venture, TSX Venture, and the symbol is RPX.
RPX, and you are exploring in the gold belt of Ontario, central northern Ontario, are you not?
We are in Wawa, in
Wawa,
a very exciting...
Ontario. Yeah. Well, it is exciting because you're getting good results, aren't you?
We are getting good results, and there's lots of activity in that part of the world. It's a greenstone belt that historically was a little bit underexplored, but has produced multi-million ounce deposits of late. The biggest one, and the one that is in the news lately, is Island Gold, that is owned by Alamos. They keep on getting great intersections and showing that grades are getting better with depth. So they're our closest neighbor.
Yeah.
So we started working on this project in 2014.
Yes.
There was already an inferred resource on the land package, 1 million ounce at 1.7 grams per ton. But the model was open pit, wasn't very economical, huge strip ratio. But there had been 10 past producing mines on the land package that operated in the late 1800s, beginning of the 1900s. Small operation, artisanal kind of mining. They didn't produce much, but they produced 120,000 ounces of gold at a grade of over 9 grams per ton. So we knew that there was some kind of, it wasn't driving in terms of a resource that is 1.7 grams per ton and historical production at 9 grams per ton. So we knew that there was an opportunity for us to find better mineralization, and that's what we did. So we went and we started drilling past these historical operations. We did intersect some high-grade gold, and so for the past 2 years, our focus was bringing this low-grade open pit resource to a higher grade underground resource, an economical resource. And that's what we did last summer.
Right, and the results are proving that out.
They've proven out. Yeah. We issued a new 43-101, so now we sit at 700,000 ounces at a grade above 5 grams per ton, between surface and 350 meters depth, so very shallow, accessible using existing underground infrastructure that is there left over from the 1980s. So all of a sudden it's become very economical, it looks really promising, really great grades. The fact that gold is now trending, at $1,600 is fabulous for us as well.
Right.
So there's no doubt in our mind that this will become an operating mine. And now we're just going to show that mineralization extends at depth, because the results that we have so far are very shallow.
Yes.
But we know that similarly to Island Gold, which is our neighbor, they're drilling above a kilometer depth. There's no reason why our mineralization doesn't extend at depth as well. So our 2020 program is going to be to prove that.
So you've just raised some money, and that's all going back into the ground. When do you start drilling again?
The drills are going to start turning next week.
Next week?
Yeah,
okay.
So we have our staff back in Wawa, getting everything ready. So it'll start. We raised $3.7 million in December, and that will go to our 2020 program, probably another 15,000 meters in 2020, and again, focused on showing that the mineralization continues beyond the 350 meters.
So you're pretty excited about the prospect here.
Oh, it is.
Of course. What is the plan? You're a junior.
Yes.
Is the plan to then prove out the resource and then turn it over and hopefully be acquired by a major, or do you foresee being able to work this mine?
Well, I think that's the plan. That's the dream of all the juniors, for somebody else to come in and take it over. As part of our financing in December, Alamos came in.
Yes.
As an 11%.
So
So which is great, right? So they believe, and they've done their due diligence, and they know that this project has legs, that it's a valid project. They see, future in it and wanted to be involved. Of course, we're in their kind of neighborhood, and it's great for them to put their hands on something that is close to them. So certainly they see the value, and we'll be working with them, of course, kind of using their expertise in terms of moving this project forward. And that it's kind of the thought. Keep on developing it, keep on adding ounces to the ground, and then have somebody taking over. But by the same token, last year we really kind of stacked up. our board of directors. We brought in 2 guys that have experience bringing advanced exploration projects on board. One is Drew Anwell, that came from Detour Gold, so brought it from advanced exploration to a working mine. He's a mining engineer. He's done this in the past. And Andrew Bauman, who worked at Hemlo and Barrick for many years. So these are 2 mining engineers that actually have looked at what we have and have devised kind of what would be the operational plan. How do we optimize the stopes? What would the mining operation look like? So that we have that background as well. So,
right. So
we're open to all sorts of opportunities.
Right. So you have options.
We do.
Well, and how important is it, because you talked about the infrastructure that's in place right now, how important is it when you look at the plan moving forward that you can say, if going to development, we already have this infrastructure in place, is going to be relatively easy and relatively inexpensive.
Exactly. The OPEX will be quite small. We're right in Wawa. I mean, we pay property taxes because we bought up against the airport in Wawa. The infrastructure is all there. We're right next to the Trans-Canada Highway. Sault Ste. Marie and the port is not far. The thought right now in looking at the modeling is this would be toll milled. So it could go to Sudbury, it could go to Timmins, it could go wherever, the concentrate. So certainly, there's also a skilled labor force there. So it's just a perfect jurisdiction. And I think that's why also there's lots of interest in there, and a lot of people have set up shop in the Wawa camp.
You know as well as I do that there is a growing interest in coming back into investing in the resource sector. Not everybody has experience in that, and they're not necessarily familiar with Ontario, especially this region in Ontario, as being a mining-friendly jurisdiction, even though that it is. How do you explain to somebody who goes, is this the right place for you to be mining gold right now?
I think a lot of people are seeing it as being, because we all hear the horror stories of things that are happening in Africa and South America.
Well, this is one of the considerations, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. And I think we've seen a lot of mid-tiers and majors as well kind of divest themselves of some projects that they have because, they're great projects, but if you can't mine them and you're having to confront all these issues, social issues, government issues, or what have you, they're not willing to take that risk anymore. So we're seeing that there's lots more attention coming to Ontario. And case in point, Alamos did not have any assets in Canada before they bought Island Gold in 2017.
Right.
So here's a company who didn't necessarily previously think that it was an interesting jurisdiction, but now they've moved in and now they've invested in us. They've invested in other junior exploration companies in that same camp. So obviously they see the benefit in having kind of their stuff in a secure and in a jurisdiction that isn't up in terms of, social, economic, government kind of swings. So I think for investors and for the retail investor, yes, Canada and Ontario is a great place to invest in because we have great relationships also with the First Nations. We have great relationships with the government, and things are pretty stable.
Right. So you almost anticipated my next question. As an investor, what's the opportunity that exists right now?
Well, right now we trade at 4 cents, so there's great upswing and opportunities here. Again, we have 700,000 ounces right now, both inferred and indicated. It's a multi-million ounce deposit. There's an opportunity. Having Alamos come on board really shows that there's that snap of approval that's come from a major. We're going to keep on doing what it is that we've done so far in terms of proving up. We said, that we were going to up the resource and show that it was a high grade. We did that. We said we were going to bring somebody in that was, a big stakeholder. We did.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to continue on with our program, and it'll happen. So,
coupled with the upward pressure on the price of gold right now,
of course,
this is a good time.
Investors are coming back to gold, and this is a great opportunity for investors.
Great jurisdiction, great team, proven results. Perfect time to be looking for opportunities like this.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.